let me ask you about this rhetorical advocacy. Does rhetorical advocacy mean you said something, but now that you've been nominated, you're scared that you can't get the votes, so you're going to try not to answer the question? Is that what rhetorical advocacy means? What is rhetorical advocacy? Is it a lie?
No, it's not a lie, Senator. I would say that it's statements that are made in service of an advocacy position.
Okay. And if you issue an opinion and you get reversed by the Supreme Court, are you just going to say, oh, don't worry about it, justices, that was just rhetorical advocacy? What is this?
Absolutely not, Senator. If the court issues an opinion as a lower court judge, I would be absolutely bound to follow it. It is not merely rhetorical advocacy. It is the law of the land.
Okay, let me try one more time. Do you believe that Brett Kavanaugh is a morally bankrupt person?
Okay. Did you just see that? Because I need a second. That right there was Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, and he just did what very few people in that hearing room had the spine to do. He asked a simple, straight question and refused to let it go unanswered. Now, before we watch the full thing, let me say this. I have watched a lot of confirmation hearings, and the one thing that never stops being frustrating is watching a nominee sit in that chair, under oath, in front of the American people, and say essentially nothing. Dressed up in 1,000 words, but nothing. Senator Kennedy saw right through it. He wasn't rude. He wasn't unfair. He asked one of the most reasonable questions you could ever ask a judicial nominee. Do you stand by what you said? That's it. We're about to watch the full video, and by the end of it you're going to have some strong feelings. Because I certainly do. If you're new here, hit subscribe. We call it like we see it. Let's get into it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you could indulge me, I'd like a couple extra minutes too. It's okay.
Certainly.
Counselor, did you really say that Justice Kavanaugh was a morally bankrupt person?
Senator, as I explained, I did not write that letter. I did sign it.
Did you read it?
I read it quickly, yes.
And you
sir.
signed it?
Yes, sir.
Did you really say that Justice Kavanaugh, if he was confirmed, would cause people to die?
As I stated, Senator, I understood those statements were overheated rhetoric, but I understood them to be just
Yeah, but you said
rhetorical.
it. You said it, right?
I did sign the letter, yes, Senator.
Okay. Do you believe that Brett Kavanaugh is a morally bankrupt person?
Senator, sitting here as a judicial nominee, it is not appropriate for me to comment
Do you believe
personally
that,
on
well, you
any
said
justice.
it. You said it. Do you believe that he's a morally bankrupt person?
Senator, it is not appropriate for me
Why
to comment.
not? You said it.
I understand.
Senator, I am giving you extra time, but can she be allowed to answer?
Sure. I just want an answer. I agree that she should answer. You're not going to answer my question?
I believe I've answered it to the best of my ability. Honestly, Senator, I respect completely the confirmation process and the authority of Justice Kavanaugh and every Supreme Court justice.
But do you, this is real simple. You said just a few years ago, you weren't in law school, you weren't in college. You said Brett Kavanaugh is a morally bankrupt person. It's clear as thunder on a summer night. Now, you're under oath. Do you believe he is or not? How hard is that? You'll have much harder questions as a federal judge if you make it that far.
I appreciate the question, Senator. As I stated, those statements were rhetorical advocacy that I signed as an alum addressing my law school alma mater. I did not.
Well, let me ask you about this rhetorical advocacy. Does rhetorical advocacy mean you said something, but now that you've been nominated, you're scared that you can't get the votes, so you're going to try not to answer the question? Is that what rhetorical advocacy means? What is rhetorical advocacy? Is it a lie?
No, it's not a lie, Senator. I would say that it's statements that are made in service of an advocacy position.
Okay. And if you issue an opinion and you get reversed by the Supreme Court, are you just going to say, oh, don't worry about it, justices, that was just rhetorical advocacy? What is this?
Absolutely not, Senator. If the court issues an opinion as a lower court judge, I would be absolutely bound to follow it. It is not merely rhetorical advocacy. It is the law of the land.
Okay, let me try one more time. Do you believe that Brett Kavanaugh is a morally bankrupt person?
Senator,
Sitting here today, under oath.
Sitting here today under oath, I can assure you that I respect completely the authority of Justice Kavanaugh as a duly confirmed Supreme Court Justice of the United States.
Yes, ma'am, but do you believe he's morally bankrupt?
Senator, as I stated, I respect his authority and the authority of every Supreme Court Justice sitting on our court.
Yes, ma'am, but do you believe he's morally bankrupt?
My personal opinion is not appropriate for me to say. I respect his authority as a Supreme Court
So
Justice.
you think he is morally bankrupt?
I did not say that, Senator.
But you signed a letter saying he was morally bankrupt.
Several years ago, as an alum addressing my law school alma mater, I did sign a letter that I believed was addressed only to my law school administration.
Oh, you
But
didn't
sitting
think
here
it would
today-
be public?
I did not understand that it would be used as a public advocacy piece. No, I
Okay.
believed it was only addressed to my law school administration.
And you signed that because you wanted to show fidelity to your alma mater, Yale Law School?
I signed it, Senator, at the time because I felt that it was an appropriate statement to make to my law school administration, notwithstanding the overheated rhetoric. But sitting here today as a judicial nominee, what I want to assure you is that as an advocate, as a litigator, as a neutral adjudicator, and as a judge, if confirmed, I would absolutely respect the authority of every Supreme Court justice and all of its precedents without reservation.
See, I don't believe you. I think you allowed your political beliefs to cloud your judgment. And I think you said a few years ago what you said about Brett Kavanaugh, and I think you believe it. And I can't imagine what it's going to be like to be a litigant in front of you with that demonstration of lack of judicial temperament and judgment. How can a litigant possibly think that you're not going to act on personal beliefs if you were so intemperate to say something like this? Last question. Are you proud of the fact that Yale Law School has a quota system limiting the number of Asian Americans? Have you ever written a letter about that? Or does that not, where does that fit in your socioeconomic view of the world that you think everybody else should adopt and you will impose if you're in a position of power?
Senator, I'm not aware of any policy like that, but what I can assure you is that I have a track record.
You need to get out more.
I have a track record as a neutral adjudicator. I have decided cases for nearly 5 years impartially by applying the law as set forth in our statutes, our Constitution, and our precedents. And I have applied that law impartially. I have ruled
You're the only
without
person in the
personal
Milky
bias.
Way who believes you're impartial.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm done, Mr. Chairman.
well, yes, you are.
All right. Now you've seen the whole thing. Let me break down why I think Senator Kennedy came out of that looking like the only adult in the room. She signed a letter calling Justice Kavanaugh morally bankrupt. Strong words. Serious words. The kind of words that if you mean them, you stand behind. And if you don't mean them, you have no business putting your name on them. Kennedy didn't come in swinging. He asked a simple, logical question. Do you believe Brett Kavanaugh is a morally bankrupt person? Yes or no? Under oath. What did we get back? Rhetorical advocacy. I respect his authority. 5 minutes of carefully constructed non-answers designed to say everything except the one thing she was being asked to say. Here's what bothers me most. This is someone asking to be a federal judge. Real people are going to walk into her courtroom and trust that the person on that bench will apply the law fairly, without a personal agenda. And yet, when given the simplest opportunity to demonstrate that integrity, she couldn't do it. Kennedy nailed it when he pointed out that litigants deserve to know their judge won't act on personal beliefs. That's not a gotcha. That's a completely legitimate concern about judicial temperament. And she had no good answer because there isn't one. The rhetorical advocacy defense was particularly weak. She's saying she said something she didn't fully mean in a heated moment. Fine, people do that. But judges don't get to do that from the bench. You can't issue a ruling and tell people not to take it too literally. Kennedy called that out, and she had nothing to say. Then there's the claim she didn't think the letter would be made public, that it was just an internal note to her law school. I'll let you decide how much you believe that. But even if we take it at face value, she still put her name on language calling a sitting Supreme Court justice morally bankrupt. The audience doesn't change what the words mean. Kennedy gave her every opportunity to answer honestly. He stayed respectful. He even gave her extra time. And what he got back was a masterclass in evasion. To his credit, he didn't let it slide, because that is literally what those hearings are for. That last line before he walked out, that she's the only person in the Milky Way who believes she's impartial, is going to stick with me. Because after watching that, he's not wrong. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Did she handle it well? Did Kennedy go too far? Let's talk about it. And if you found this useful, share it around. See you in the next one.